Good afternoon and welcome to Acadiana News 1. I'm Shayla Lang.
And I'm Camry Silv. Today is bittersweet as it marks our very last show of the semester.
We have all worked extremely hard to produce and give you the best news content possible.
But it doesn't stop there. Highlighting our top stories, we bring you the best of the semester show. Christmas is more than merry for a local mother, nearly 10 years after surviving what some see as a medical miracle. The H1N1 virus, known in 2009 as the swine flu, proved deadly for so many people. Troy Brashear shares the remarkable story of how a woman who was pregnant survived and successfully delivered a healthy child.
Acknowledge that the Lord is God. He made us. We are His people, the sheep of His pasture.
Something vicious tries to take the joy from a very special moment in Lisa Dempsey's life.
In 2009, I was expecting Carson. It was a healthy pregnancy, and that is the year that the H1N1 or the swine flu pandemic was wreaking havoc on the U.S.
The unwelcome timing of these events created disastrous circumstances.
Because a high fever during pregnancy is very dangerous. I ended up waking up some 48 days later to find out that I had tested positive for the H1N1 virus.
While fighting her own battles, Dempsey had baby Carson 3 months premature and comatose.
So he was considered a micro-preemie. He weighed 3 pounds, 2 ounces, and he was 15.5 inches long.
Everything seems to be all right. Baby Carson is born and Lisa is reaching the end of her coma, but misery isn't done with them yet.
And I ended up with a condition called MODS, which is short for multi-organ dysfunction syndrome, which is when multiple organ systems just completely failed.
Although doctors at Dotrieve Hospital didn't see a happy ending for Dempsey, her family had other plans. Her mother, Mitzi Najum, was crucial in her time of distress.
And the doctors came to me and they said, there are only 4 drugs that we can try to stop this. I told them, I said, you just have to do what you have to do. She will be fine. They would tell me all the side effects, and of course I know how to pray.
Najum says the power of prayer created 2 miracles.
And all the nurses were looking at me and they were all smiling. And I said, what's happened, what's up? And they said, just go see. And Lisa was awake. He just gave us a miracle. Carson was released from occupational therapy and everything when he was 18 months old. They said, we don't need to see him anymore. He's perfect.
Dempsey was the only survivor out of 6 pregnant mothers who contracted H1N1 that year. Out of tens of thousands of cases, Dempsey and Carson are one of the 2 documented mother and child survivors. For Acadiana News 1, I'm Troy Brashear.
In 1974, Lafayette's American Red Cross director, Russell Foote, was murdered. The investigation went cold in 1977, and Emma Lacey joins us in studio with more.
Now, 44 years after the murder, the victim's son, Kevin Foote, hopes through technology and someone finally coming forward that the case can be resolved.
This is harder than looking at a scrapbook. On the morning of May 17th, 1974, my dad, who had 3 children and a wife, drove to work. On his way to work, he apparently stopped in the middle of the road. Someone came behind him and shot him and killed him.
In 1974, Lafayette's Red Cross director, Russell Foote, was found murdered in his car. 44 years later, Foote's son, Kevin Foote, believes now is the time to revisit the case.
We know way, way more than we knew before I started this process. So the hope is that things are being done, people are being interviewed, and we just have to hope that we find the right person.
In 2017, Kevin Foote spoke to the original investigator of the case. There were a few clues, but a lot of suspicions.
His basic thing was, in his mind, he thought the prime suspect was guilty, but they never could get the gun.
And the grand jury refused to indict the prime suspect.
Well, you know, one of the things I wish they would have done is collect her clothing the day of to see if there was anything there. But theoretically, if with the detective back then, if he's correct that he believes she did it, that there might have been some blood or gun residue or something.
Just 3 years after the murder, the case goes cold due to circumstantial evidence. In November 2017, Kevin Foote receives a 712-page file of incident reports, witness statements, and evidence logs. But even with all of that, it wasn't what Kevin Foote wanted.
A lot of things that could be evidence now have been lost. I think more search warrants could have been gotten, and I think more things could have been done maybe to pull things from the actual crime scene.
The advancements we have now in DNA and forensic testing can potentially lead to a breakthrough. If you know any information about the case and would like to report it, call the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office at 337-232-9211. For Acadiana News 1, I'm Emma Lacey.
Kevin Foote says he keeps a positive mindset as he continues to revisit the case.
The family is still hoping for closure and clues that will help police solve the murder of a 37-year-old man. Marlon Brown was shot February 7th on his front porch. Loved ones are now growing impatient while detectives point to an issue with the case. Few people understand.
But right in front of my house.
Deborah Brown is Marlon Brown Sr.'s mother. She was the first person to find Marlon the night he died.
When I doze off and I sleep, all I heard is pow. And when I opened up the door, both of the car doors open. I didn't see him. When I just stepped out, didn't know who's on the side of the house, could have shot me or whatever. When on the sidewalk, that's when I noticed his body, and I went to him. He didn't respond.
Lieutenant Jason Hebert says correct measures are being taken.
And when all these murders were going on, people were afraid to come out of their houses. They were, every night they would shoot you. They'd lay on the ground. We hear the stories. Y'all need to do something. Y'all need to do something. So we come out and we do something.
Marlon's family is frustrated with Abbeville police, saying that there's more that can be done.
I feel like APD not putting no pressure down on one of the suspects, and like I said, we just want justice.
Numerous people have been interviewed by the investigation department, but none have cooperated.
No one wants to come forward as a witness and tell us what happened, what they saw, who did what, why. But we hear it.
Hebert mentions the processing of evidence is slow.
So we flag it. But we one agency in the state of Louisiana that sends stuff there, right? So how many other agencies have things flagged?
The Brown family wishes police update them more on the case.
Nobody never came talk to us. None of that.
Like I told Deborah the other day, I would love to come bang on your door and tell you, I just arrested this and this one for this and that. And if and when that time comes, I will. Till then, they gotta wait.
Marlon's mother describes him as a generous family man.
He'll get a shirt off his back. That's why nobody can't believe that's that Marlon gone. Nobody can believe.
If Marlon could say one thing to his family,
keep pushing, y'all stay strong. To find my killer.
For Acadiana News 1, I'm Camry Sill.
Anyone with information regarding this crime is asked to contact the Abbeville Police Department at 337-893-2511.
After a fire destroyed their home, a Kaplan family is starting over. A local church is helping in to help them, but there's still a huge void. Reporter Merlin George shares why the family needs help.
Here, my grandbaby's born here.
Glenda Johnson can no longer call this house her home because of a fire that destroyed it in early September.
That's how you wake up one morning with a house and then go to bed to nothing.
Johnson says that an electrical wiring problem was the cause of the fire that destroyed her home.
The detective came and he was like, it started from a wiring on the dryer.
Johnson and her family have lived here for 5 years, but now will have to search for a new home.
Right now we're in the process of moving somewhere else.
Losing her home has left Johnson in distraught and stressed.
Tired, depressed, all of the above.
She is still grateful, and after seeing everything that she has lost, the community has stepped up.
I want to say thank you. First, to our Father God in heaven. And I want to thank Pastor Trey and the family members of the church.
The church and the community continue to support with donations. As you can see in this story, the family needs a whole lot more. If you can help out, call 337-400-6164.
A concern that's bothering local shrimpers, and how is a certain apartment complex disappointing its residents? All that and much more coming up. Stay with us.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Big responsibility.
Oh, it's huge. I know, it's huge.
And the salary.
Oh my god, yes.
Right?
I mean, like, I was about to move in with my parents, and right before, so this saved me.
I really believe in you, you know.
Thank you. It's nice to hear that from someone.
These are cool. Did you, what did you...
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
Think about this. How does gumbo look and taste without Louisiana shrimp? Louisiana shrimpers are growing frustrated because of lack of support to fix their problems with foreign imports. This could possibly change what's on the plate across the state.
I got $2.40 for them shrimp 15 years ago. Right now it's $1.10. It can't balance out. And it can't keep going like that, you know. Me, I don't care.
Jimmy Dupree Sr. is a third-generation Louisiana shrimper who has been trawling for 62 years. Dupree and other older shrimpers see a problem with the shrimping lifestyle.
And if you go on strike, then I gotta run out of shrimp, they're gonna import more. They're still gonna put the shrimp on the market.
Louisiana shrimpers have asked for assistance from President Trump himself and was granted a tariff on imported seafood, but shrimp was not included on the list.
So we done that. We went through all that, finally got a tariff tax passed. Processors wound up with all the money. I collected $2,400 off that tariff tax. They collected $5 to $6 million, and it was made for us, but we didn't get the money.
After a costly battle in legal fees in 2014 with the Department of Commerce and International Trade Commission, it was discovered that China and other nations were dumping shrimp into Louisiana. I spoke with Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser about the issue.
We don't want to get involved in the tariffs. We want to inspect more of the imported seafood. We inspect less than 1%, and much of that is rejected. They chock it full of antibiotics.
The lieutenant governor plans to take matters into his own hands about the shrimp being imported into Louisiana. The plan includes a fee that will be charged to inspect the shrimp to make sure there's no chemicals.
Our plan is to pass a resolution in every council in the state demanding that the federal government impose a 10 cents a pound import inspection fee. We've also got to make Louisianans and the rest of the country realize it's a safety issue.
In late August, a 55-cent raise for shrimpers ended the talk of a possible strike, but considerable problems remain, such as the price of fuel and the flood of cheap imported shrimp that is hurting the Louisiana shrimp industry.
Time for action, not talk. And I felt like if we could get all of Louisiana saying this is what we want, we got a better chance of getting action in Congress.
Louisiana shrimpers like Dupree believe change cannot come fast enough. But on the other hand, he does not plan on tying his boat, T-Turbo, up anytime soon. For Acadiana News 1, I'm Shayla Lang.
Student apartments are supposed to be something that college students expect to be luxurious, because for most, it is their first time living in their own home. However, as reporter Amos Sterling shows us, for some students, that is not the case.
Issues for tenants, and some of them are just tired of the mistreatment that they are getting.
I feel like they could definitely do better in that department as far as, like, you know, treating they tenants that pay, you know, especially like someone like me that's been living here for 4 years.
I interviewed a few student tenants who did not want their faces shown because of the issues that might arise with the apartment. This made them more comfortable, and they had a lot to say in regards to the staff.
The staff, you know, they don't really care about us. You know, they don't answer emails quick enough. Maintenance men don't really come out here fast enough to fix the problem, or they'll fix it and, you know, it'll be broke again the same week.
The students say the apartment itself is not bad, but they have been dealing with issues such as high piling trash, lack of maintenance to the apartments, and for these particular students, a hole.
No, it wasn't there when we first moved in. We had carpet up in the apartment, and they switched the floors out, and while they was doing that, they put a hole in the wall, and they never really came back to fix it.
Students told me that hole has been in their apartment for almost 2 months now. They have reached out to the apartment complex and has received very little help. I also reached out to the apartment complex to get some comments, but the staff had nothing to say.
Yeah, I have a few friends that stay here, and pretty much everybody have the same opinion towards these apartments.
And which is?
That it's not really a good apartment to really stay in.
For Acadiana News 1, I'm Amos Sterling.
Reading is not always easy. A special program in Kenner is helping children move from struggling to successful when it comes to reading comprehension. Erin Calderera has the story.
Story about a big, giant, green and orange pumpkin.
Adriana is a student at Kenner Discovery Health Sciences Academy. When she started the school year, she was behind in reading. Now, almost 4 months into the school year, she's reading 2 grades above the state's requirements.
It's just very unique for us, though. Like I said, a lot of schools don't do it this way. They don't. The interventionist just goes in and makes sure that they're on the computer and they're doing the computer program. And like that's not human interaction.
Raquel Fitzmaurice is the reading interventionist for kindergarten through 3rd grade. She works hands-on with over 50 students, teaching them according to their learning style.
Where's the word pumpkin on that page?
Right here.
Wow. Do you know all those letters?
P-U-M-P-K-I-N.
It's a lot of motivation, a lot of encouragement, and I think that's very important for us and for them.
Well, when did you start reading?
When I was 5.
And how old are you now?
6.
And you can remember this whole book, and you're only 6?
It's just we do a lot for what they are needed, you know. So that's very unique. In parish school, they have to get whatever they get, whatever they're told to do, whatever is the best that they need to do. That's how they do it, and we just have so much support. It helps them out so much. The growth that they do is amazing.
How many times have you read this one?
1 time.
You read it once and you remembered all of that? That's crazy. When did you get so good at reading?
I don't know.
Kenner Discovery is a charter school that has consecutively earned an A in school performance. The school focuses on developing strong, confident, and independent learners. For Acadiana News 1, Erin Calderera.
St. Thomas More is not just a high school. It's a family and a community of offering different ways for their students to get involved since 1982 when the school started. Haley Gonzalez takes us on a tour of the school.
Hi, I'm Kelly Leger, principal. Welcome to St. Thomas More. Come on in. St. Thomas More is not just a school, it's a family. You know, we've worked really hard to build a school community where our students are challenged to grow spiritually, academically, physically, and artistically, and all within a loving, nurturing, and safe environment for our students.
Cougarcast is a student-run broadcast that we have at St. Thomas More. It started 3 years ago, and basically our purpose is to be the news source on campus. We have a show every Friday morning, and so we have to really work together really closely. It's hard. We spend many hours and afternoons working on our episode to make sure it's the best it can be.
There was a group of students a while back that wanted to add something to the amount of clubs that we have at STM, and they wanted to do a fishing club. My favorite experience probably is waking up in the morning on the day of a tournament, putting on my jersey and getting out there and representing my school and just working as hard as I can to get our popularity up as a school.
So the STEM Club was all about, we wanted to get kids that weren't in STEM classes, like engineering and computer science, doing STEM projects, because they were interested in them. We had freshmen, we had sophomores, even seniors that couldn't take the classes that wanted to do the projects. So the whole idea was, let's bring this to them. Let's give them a way to participate in STEM that they couldn't otherwise.
We have a really good program over here, and when I was a sophomore, we won a state championship, and we just have the culture of just giving it your all every play and demanding perfection for ourselves. All the wins and the state championships are nice, but I think the thing I remember most is all the friendships I've made and all the lessons I've learned during this game.
I'm a part of the St. Thomas More competitive dance team, and we've won 4 consecutive years in a row in Palm in the nation.
Probably my favorite experience was the homecoming pep rally, and we were outside, so that made it a lot more fun, and we got to perform with varsity, so we had this whole big dance, and it was just really cool.
Bye guys, thanks for coming. Remember that our door is always open and you are welcome anytime.
Just Google police officers using excessive force, and you'll find several cell phone videos of some officers abusing their authority. But as Ethan Dumas reports, one Opelousas officer is committed to changing the public's view of law and order, one good deed at a time.
See if we can make some people smile over there.
Opelousas officer Derek Garrick is in his 8th year of law enforcement.
TV show Chips. I like motorcycles, and I also like cops, so motorcycle cop, Chips.
He hasn't forgotten what it was like being on the other side of the badge.
Where I'm from, you have good cops and bad cops just like everywhere else, so you talk to the good cops and you try to avoid the bad cops.
Garrick patrols, protects, and services, determined to build trust.
You just gotta create a friendship with them, and then they'll know you as a person and not just as a badge.
Garrick's strategy of interacting with the community is not going unnoticed.
You find your quarter and you actually know how to do your job.
I appreciate that. Officer Garrick believes that not all encounters with cops should be a negative one.
I put on events in Opelousas, basketball tournaments. I volunteer at the schools, so I'm always dealing with youth.
Most of his acts of kindness are during his 12-hour shift, where Garrick responds to emergencies and enforces the law, while showing and not just telling the community they can trust police.
Some cops actually care.
I'm Ethan Dumas with photographer Merlin George for Acadiana News 1.
Garrick says just being friendly can help any cop.
Coming up, hear the story of an unstoppable videographer and learn how the Acadiana community is lending more than a helping hand. Stay tuned.
expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon? You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Going places, young lady.
Thank you. And thank you for the interview as well. I can imagine it was the last thing that you wanted to do after such a long campaign meeting.
You really are a very intelligent young woman. You're very smooth.
You're very smooth yourself.
You have no idea.
Some tasks can be difficult to complete with two hands, so imagine having to do things with only one. I learned the story of how one videographer doesn't let that stop him. Dayon Brewer has more.
Stared at.
Why do people stare at him, you might ask? That's Adam Touche, a multimedia journalist with a disability. He works at News 15.
I believe it's called syndactyly. Basically, it was like just kind of a web. So instead of having fully formed fingers, they were kind of just all bunched up like this.
His disability is a birth defect. The 30-year-old has had 2 full-time cheerleaders every step of the way.
My parents always told me from day one, then it's like, you're going to be just like everybody else. You're going to be able to do what everybody else does. You just might have to find different ways to go about doing it.
That wasn't too difficult for Touche at all. He does everything from washing dishes, folding laundry, and even reports the news successfully like anyone without a disability. Touche says he has always been self-conscious about his hand, so he tends to hide it from others, but sometimes...
There's going to be people that just don't notice.
That's the answer I got from his coworkers when I asked, how is it working with Touche?
And I find that absolutely fascinating to me that I had no recollection of this or no knowledge that he was disabled. His work ethic is 100+%, and also his personality is one of the rare ones that he can make you laugh.
And it could have been real easy for me to be like, well, I have a disability, so I can't do this. And I think for me what keeps me going is that I would just be bored if I just like took it easy.
Every amount of hard work Touche puts into his job pays off. He says this may be his favorite job, but he's not done yet.
Every job I keep getting in broadcasting I'm surprised by, but I keep doing it, and I guess I'm not going to stop.
For Acadiana News 1, I'm Dayon Brewer.
Touche will be going into his second year on the job and hopes to advance even further.
It takes strength, stability, and teamwork to build a home. Habitat for Humanity is assisting people who cannot afford market-price housing by building them affordable homes. Carly Waldweiler shows us how.
I'm here at Georgia Street, where Habitat for Humanity workers and volunteers come together to construct the next set of houses for families in need. Future homeowners work side by side with volunteers like Brooke Bodwin, becoming a construction worker while being a client.
They work with you, so if you're volunteering and you're spending time working on their houses, they're doing the same things.
Volunteers do everything from building the structure to beautifying the exterior.
It's really cool when you're like towards the end and you're like painting and putting in floors because it looks like a house now and it doesn't just look like a skeleton of a house.
Another way people help out is by working at Habitat's Restore, where volunteers such as Shelby Sake accept household donations, then sell them for a discounted price.
anything that gets sold in the restore, all of that money gets immediately put back into our Habitat Fund, and that can go towards us buying building materials and other things to put back into our homeowners' new houses.
Her favorite part is giving back.
It's one thing to help the homeless, but it's another thing to help those people who work their butts off day in and day out. So for us to be able to be that help, for them to just kind of like get back on their feet, it's really special.
For Acadiana News 1, I'm Carly Waldweiler.
For information about how you can give back, visit habitat.org.
The St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Office does more than protect the community. The officers give back during the holiday season with their annual toy drive. Donovan Ilbear has more on the story.
Here in St. Martin Parish, there has been an unlikely Santa Claus for the last 4 years of Christmas.
We were just extremely happy. You know, we get a lot of tears.
4 years ago, Allison Boudreaux and the St. Martin Parish Sheriff Office started a toy drive for less fortunate families.
It's 2015, we partnered with Landmark of Acadiana, which is a nursing home here in the parish, just to do something for the community, for kids, underprivileged children in St. Martin Parish. And so we started the toy drive, and our application is pretty easy.
Families do not have to prove much in order to apply to receive toys.
We don't require, financial records or anything like that, just a need. They have to have some sort of need.
Then Santa's helpers get busy, checking the list and making the wish come true.
We take all the toys that we do collect and we divide them up, and we actually, each child gets about 5 presents each.
Families appreciate the kindness of strangers. For Boudreaux, the toy drive is about 2 things: seeing the relief on family faces.
We did one family, they had several years ago, house completely burnt down right before Christmas, lost everything. So when we did the children, they actually told us we were giving them too much.
And watching senior citizens experience the joy of giving back.
And one of the fun things we do is part of the wrapping. We'll get some of the seniors that are living in the nursing home, and they'll help wrap with us.
Then instead of reindeers flying through the sky with Santa and a sleigh full of toys, sheriff deputies pack their cars with the acts of kindness and deliver Christmas.
Welcome back. We'd like to introduce our professor, the backbone of Acadiana News 1, Miss Bartholomew. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you guys doing? Excited. This is the last show, and semester is coming to an end, and you don't have to deal with me anymore. I understand.
Yes, it's bittersweet, but it's a good feeling.
So we wanted to ask you a few questions. So with being a fairly new professor at UL Lafayette, how do you think this semester went, in your opinion?
I think this was where I really found my footing on campus, and where I kind of stabilized what I wanted from the program, what I wanted to give, and what I was expecting from the students. And honestly, from the first day that I came here to interview, I've never actually been able to forget about campus. So I know this is where I belong, with the passion that I have for news and the passion that I have for where I want you guys to go. That's really all I think about. What can I do next to help them be better prepared before they graduate?
Talking about next, so testing the waters out with us being your guinea pigs of the class, where do you see Acadiana News 1 going in the future?
You guys weren't guinea pigs. You were just awesome. No, as for Acadiana News 1, of course, like any other campus, we want better equipment. We want a bigger studio, so on and so forth. But I do see us having more partnerships with community stations, with our KATC, KAD, and KLFY. Those stations where we could probably do something maybe once a month, where students are getting hands-on experience. Everyone in the area will learn about the talent that we have here in-house, which would grow our program, and maybe invite more community sponsors and partners where we can have better equipment, which is what I know you guys fuss about a lot during the semester. But anywhere you go, you're going to want the flashier thing for your show.
So talking about the semester, what was your favorite part out of the whole semester with this 455 class?
The end. No, I really loved watching everyone transition, because I believe when the semester began, you all didn't know what to expect. I know what you were hoping, but you didn't know what to expect. So to watch you move from average to awesome in your own individual ways was rewarding to me. There are people in the class who I know don't want to put their hands on hard news, but they have a bleeding heart when it comes to doing stories about nonprofits. There are people who really want to anchor, and they should anchor. And then there are those who don't, but they are reliable in other areas. And I believe the entire class of my 13 Dream Team have found where they belong in this industry, whether it's on camera or off.
13 Dream Team. I like that. All right. Well, thank you, Ms. B. We really appreciate it.
And on behalf of all of the class, we'd like to just say thank you for all your hard work and your dedication to each one of us.
You guys are worth it, and I'm not going to cry, so back to you, whichever camera we're supposed to be using.
Coming up, we'll have a recap of sports and a special interview. We'll be right back with more. Stay with us.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
How's your hair? Is it pretty?
Daddy.
It's pretty.
Maybe I'll sit alone. Maybe I'll sit alone. I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Did you take your medicine?
Oh gosh, I forgot it.
Her nurse. You need a claim number? Her personal assistant. Let me just grab a... Her housekeeper. Her cook. Her accountant. When I started taking care of Mom, I didn't realize the challenge of playing so many roles. But above all, I'm still her daughter.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving to connect with experts and other caregivers. Together we can better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
Adopting a pet brings so much joy to pet owners. The Jefferson Parish Animal Shelter is looking for new homes for the animals that will create a bond for a
Opening your heart to an animal who is already in a shelter.
Communications Director Alicia Vile explains the procedures that the LSPCA have in place when the facility is full and how long they shelter animals.
Here at our organization, there is no time limit. So some animals have stayed with us for more than a year before we found them the right home.
Samantha O'Quain expresses her appreciation for adopting her cat Salem and how he changed her life.
Giving her a better chance at life, and she brightened up our lives and made us more active and everything to take care of her.
If you're looking to adopt a pet today, just do your homework. It's a dog and it's a particular breed. Know the characteristics of that breed and what to expect. And know that animals, it's not a one-time financial commitment.
Come into Louisiana SPCA today and adopt your lifelong friend. With photographer Aaron Calderera, Acadiana News 1, I'm Tia Suggs.
Go eat that. Okay. This fall was spectacular when it came to the sports scene around Acadiana.
That's right, we saw everything from high school athletes striving to be great and a new era under Billy Napier on the gridiron. And we also take a glimpse at the Cajuns on the hardwood as well. Let's take a look at the top 10 plays.
Starting at number 10 on the countdown is Elijah Mitchell, who absorbs the contact at the goal line for a 30-yard touchdown. The sophomore has a team-high 12 touchdowns this season. Checking in at number 9 is New Iberia's Markel Linzer, who puts a juke move that reminds us of the old school Madden on a Lafayette High defender. Next is number 8, where Lafayette High's Corin Norman shows that he's not afraid to strike a pose after scoring his second TD of the night. Tarion Doucette is our number 7 spot with a vicious Anthony Davis-like block. The Brow would be proud of that one. It's number 6, and guess what? Elijah Mitchell makes another appearance. This time, it's a screen pass that goes for a 64-yard touchdown. This play shows us why he's a dual threat coming out of the backfield. We are halfway through, and it's another Cajun. This time, Raymond Calais strikes for a 72-yard dash. The Cajuns at the running back position only got stronger as the season continued, and is showing on this countdown. There's defense played for the Cajuns too. Freshman Eric Guerra makes the leaping pick to get the number 4 spot. Andre Nunez makes his first appearance at the number 3 slot as he takes flight at the goal line for the touchdown. Andre Nunez makes history at the number 2 spot as he sets the new school record with 6 passing touchdowns in a single game. And our top play comes from Jared Jackson, who makes a full extension for the one-handed snag. It looks even better in slow motion. And that was our top 10 plays of the semester.
Those plays should have left everyone in awe or possibly even motivated to do better. Back to you guys.
From everyone here at Acadiana News 1, we thank you for being a fantastic audience and sticking with us this entire semester.
We would like to wish our seniors, Aaron Calderera and Merlin George, a very special farewell. Be on the lookout because we are sure they will be on a screen near you pretty soon.
Acadiana News 1 will be back with bigger and better things next semester. Thanks for watching.